Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for having us here. Leander, thanks for coming. I think we've seen you already twice in the last 2-3 weeks. We had a similar conference that we've done in London, purely dedicated for digital health. This is a great topic, and we specifically did it because we truly believe this is an exceptional time for venture capital as well as the startups to find amazing opportunities in that space, where the number of VC investing doubled, the quantum of the capital that was raised in the sort of health tech space went to close to 21 billion that was invested in 2018 alone. And I think we see this trend only going up. I think, again, the previous speakers, we've seen Kaya doing the digital therapy of the chronic diseases, Aviva focusing on the sort of nutrition side. Coming back to Leander, I think we were quite excited to invest in Leander earlier this year in the 7 million Series A round. And Medbelle is fitting really well what from Talis' perspective is the trend that is happening in the sort of health tech space, where we're going from aggregation to the curation stage, where the connectivity and the usage by the consumers are at the level where what they call the Amazon effect. They want to deliver service quicker, better, easier to their doorsteps. And I think that is triggering a lot of push to the companies like Medbelle to come up and to provide the full service solution. So, Leander, I think that Medbelle is the world's first digital hospital providing end-to-end platform for the treatment and connecting customers and the surgeons. So tell us about why you decided to come up with that sort of end-to-end full-stack solution, and what is your vision for the future?
Sure. I mean, first of all, great pronunciation of the name. So that worked very well. Also, thanks for the invite a couple of weeks ago to the digital health event at Talis. That was great too. Yeah, a bit more about Medbelle. I mean, I come from a family of medics, and I've been coding since a very young age. And I think both my co-founder Daniel and I are very passionate about really improving the delivery of care, because I think we see a lot of stuff happening in primary care, we see a lot of stuff happening in prevention, a lot of money invested, but the secondary care space is really not covered. There's just not much going on. And as Vasile has said, we see this trend from essentially aggregation, where you just put a lot of people on a platform, to curation, where you actually control the service and you improve it. So where we're coming from is, as we said, the first digital hospitals. What does that mean? As the first digital hospital, we actually contract with the patient books with us, or the payer, and we contract the top specialists in the country. So these could be surgeons, anesthetists, everything for secondary, plannable, elective procedures. And we rent the operating facilities from the brick and mortar hospitals and other locations in the country. Now, we built the technology on top of that to really build a better patient journey with a better patient experience, but also on the other side, use the technology to improve the efficiency of the actual delivery and basically reduce costs. And we believe that the only way to do so is by fully controlling the experience, which is why we offer the brand ourselves and why we essentially integrate that deeply.
Oh, thank you. And I know that you guys are based in Berlin, but your first and at the moment current main market is UK. Can you just explain a bit more why you decided to address that market versus your local market, where it probably will be easier for you? And we'll come from there.
Sure. I mean, there are a couple of reasons. First one definitely is that the UK market, just from a structural perspective, has been more interesting to us, because you could essentially contract with surgeons individually, while in the German market you would need the hospital on board right from the start, so you could start an MVP in an easier space. But I think even more importantly, we had the support of some of the leading specialists in the country. And I think one thing that really makes our platform and the Medbelle product stand out is the quality of what we do. And we focus on the very best possible providers, not only on the facility side, but really the best possible surgeons in the UK. Now, if you start with these guys and you have the support from these guys, you can actually start with a high quality of service that's usually really, really hard to attract for kind of an early stage platform. So it was a major effect in the decision. And now, of course, we have the great luck to work with awesome UK investors, and really proud to be a part of the Talis family as well now. Really proud that with the latest investment, we can also get the support from like industry specialists like Signals VC from here in Germany. I think the next couple of steps will move us ahead to invest even deeper in like the technology essentially, and essentially the deeper vertical integration to provide even better curated care.
I think the forecast is that the healthcare, particularly the digitization of the healthcare, is growing quite tremendously up, and the forecast will be by 2025 is to be half a trillion of sort of investments coming in that space. And the US is quite tangibly a big part of that. What is your view in terms of, are you planning to go to US market? Is it on the radar? And sort of what, and if it is, when are you planning to do that?
So for now, we still have a lot to cover in the UK. I mean, we started with a couple of like self-pay, out-of-pocket procedures, mostly in cosmetics, bariatrics, ophthalmology space, and we're currently expanding into orthopedics and other areas. So this is focus number one. At the same time, we're integrating on the vertical side quite a bit. But we've also had a close look at the US market and a couple of others. And I think there's this great shift inside of care, which essentially means shifting the provision of treatments from hospitals where it's very, essentially just costly because you have long overnight stays, you actually have diseconomies of scope, to specialized surgical facilities like ambulatory surgery centers in the US, which actually perfectly works for what we do because we can accelerate this trend and really benefit from it, really providing better outcomes and cheaper care. So down the line, yes, this is definitely an option, but I think we'll focus on the UK for now, and we of course also get quite a bit of pull from other countries at the moment as hospital groups are approaching us to really work together.
Thank you. And looking at your offering, your sort of USP is what we call truly end-to-end platform, where you're connecting the customers, giving them the information, educating them, financing them if needed, and then bringing and connecting to the right specialists and making those sort of surgeries in the right sort of hospitals. Looking into that, sort of being truly end-to-end platform, what's your view on the other areas like insurance, the data, and other angles where you can maybe benefit more and maybe enhance your offering?
I think what's important to understand, first of all, is also why are we doing end-to-end? And we're doing end-to-end because we really believe this is a better way to improve care and actually have control of the services. Because there's a couple of players out there who are essentially technology provider for like a review platform, an appointment booking platform, a billing platform, something like that. And then the providers or insurers have to piece that together somehow, and they often don't have the skills, and it doesn't work together, and it's hard to integrate. So we essentially try to take all of that away, make it simple, and do everything in one platform that we can control and essentially structure the innovation. Now, end-to-end for us means that this is end-to-end for the patient and it's end-to-end for the provider. So as you already said, the patient comes in, they sign up on the page, they have their personal profile with all their health information, medical records, but also availability of all of the providers, details of the providers, videos of these, reviews of these. They can book right away, they have offline integration of the consultations. If they go there, the doctor actually already knows everything about them, and they can actually use our software to fill out further information about how much time they need in theater, whether there are any modifications, and so on. It's a wholly integrated process where we try to control every single bit and really just build this one very streamlined experience. Now, when it comes to ancillary services like data and insurance, I think there are a couple of things that we, of course, add on top of the end-to-end experience that we do, like essentially insurance for aftercare and things like that, that we will offer in the future as well, while we're already trying to work something out at the moment. With regards to data, of course, the interesting thing is that the bigger we grow, the more data we collect. And of course, we collect it in, essentially even by now close to a HIPAA-compliant way, which means that we can only analyze the statistics as a whole, but this is a big thing. And by now, we actually know different correlations of procedures and complication rates and so on, and this becomes more insightful over time. So I think there will be a couple of places that will be interesting here.
Well, thank you. One of the last few questions. I think one is, I know that you're attracting top doctors to your platform. And I think we've spoken to a few, and some of them are like super known stars in their own sort of fields. The question is, how do you actually manage to attract that high caliber of the doctors? Because from the consumer perspective, we totally understand you are sort of searching for the best offering, for the best specialists, and your platform allows you that educational process. But what is the value add for those top stars that probably don't have a problem filling up their calendars?
I think the big thing here is that even as a top doctor, the question is, what do I really want to do? I want to do the clinical side. This is what I've been trained for, what I've been working for, and what I love doing. I want to consult patients, and even better, I want to treat patients. I want to be in the operating room. And I don't want any admin hassle, and I don't want the marketing or sales side of building a business. The weird thing is that in the private market, in pretty much any country, surgeons and a lot of independent medical practitioners are basically required to build a whole business themselves, which adds a lot of overhead. We really take that away, we make it simple for them, we take care of the whole kind of patient communication, the patient education, the pricing and the process, everything in between, the booking of rooms, so that the surgeon can actually fully focus on what they're doing best. At the same time, we're pre-qualifying patients by essentially checking medical records and looking for financing where if the patient doesn't have the money, we can actually offer finance option within 30 seconds on the side, and things like that, which really make sure that the surgeon also doesn't waste their time. And in the end, for me as a specialist, that means I have a partner that takes care of the things I really don't want to do, and I can focus on treating more patients and treating a higher quality of patients to, in the end, be more efficient with my time.
Thank you. I think we're already running out of time, and thank you very much for you coming here.
Thank you very much, Vasile.